It was often said for quite some time that Burmese pythons in Florida have no natural predators. Even humans, using traps, firearms and helicopters, can only slow their spread and cannot stop them completely. However, on that particular morning, deep inside the vast and wild Everglades, the research team discovered a large male Burmese python that was about 4 meters long and weighed more than 20 kilograms. They had named this impressive snake Loki. They had previously released him as part of a scientific experiment, but before he could do anything, something deliberately killed him. It was lying motionless, headless. Its neck was completely torn apart, and its body was covered with pine needles. Who has the strength to do that? A mountain lion, a bear, or a giant alligator? Or maybe a petite woman known as the best professional snake hunter in America? But before we dive into the strange details of Loki's death, first, we need to understand why Burmese pythons have become the biggest environmental disaster in Florida's history. No one knows exactly how the first ones appeared. The oldest records from the 1930s show only a few scattered individuals. But by the 1970s, the whole situation exploded. Florida became the capital of exotic pets. Monkeys, South American lizards, and especially Burmese pythons. They were beautiful and calm when small, with golden brown patterns that looked like silk-like fabric. But then they grew. An adult can typically reach a length of about 4 to 5 meters, and it can weigh between 20 and 40 kilograms. This size is far too big for a standard living room, or even a large glass tank. For this reason, thousands of people have chosen the easier solution. They release them into the Everglades, a region with consistently warm and humid weather, shallow and slow-moving waters, and seemingly endless hiding spots. In this environment, there are practically very few natural predators. In the year 1992, Hurricane Andrew, a powerful Category 5 storm, devastated the city of Miami, and as a consequence, inadvertently led to the largest mass escape in history. A reptile breeding facility was destroyed, releasing hundreds of young snakes. An official from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission acknowledged publicly in the New Yorker magazine, saying, "That was the moment we lost the battle without realizing it." By the year 2000, it was confirmed that Burmese pythons were successfully breeding in the wild. And by 2010, their number had exceeded 30,000. From 2017 until now, more than 14,000 snakes have been removed. But that is still not nearly enough, because their reproduction rate is significantly faster than the rate at which humans can find them. Estimates range from 30,000 to more than 300,000 animals. No one can count them accurately. In the Everglades, the snakes grow faster, become larger, and are more frightening than they are in their native habitat in Southeast Asia. Many individuals reach a length of 6 meters and move as quietly as a ghost. In a study published in the Journal of Herpetology and Amphibians, scientists carefully measured the mouth gape of 3 snakes, and in the process, they discovered something that would truly terrify any expert. The smallest of these snakes was actually swallowing an entire deer weighing nearly 35 kilograms. Its mouth is able to open up to an impressive 25 centimeters wide. But the truly terrifying part is inside the body. A snake's heart can expand by as much as 40% immediately after it consumes a meal, allowing it to pump blood more efficiently for the process of digestion, while its powerful digestive enzymes increase up to 40-fold. Its entire body essentially turns into a giant blazing furnace of energy. It doesn't choose its prey carefully. For it, any vertebrate animal is a suitable meal, for example. Burmese pythons have preyed on at least 24 species of mammals, 47 species of birds, and a number of native reptiles, ranging from marsh rabbits, raccoons, and foxes to even large crocodiles. Sometimes crocodiles and snakes are seen fighting fiercely to the death, like a dramatic prehistoric battle. As a result, the outcome is a complete ecological collapse. A study conducted in the year 2012 carefully documented a dramatic 90% decline in raccoon populations. And marsh rabbits are now nearing extinction, with more than 99% of opossums having disappeared from their natural range over this period. And severe, dangerous, and troubling declines in populations of foxes as well as various ground-nesting birds. And you should also know that the Everglades is not simply a swamp. In fact, it is the largest natural water purification system in the entire United States. It provides clean, fresh water to more than 9 million people. When the food chain collapses, the entire system begins to change. Alligators lose their food sources. Birds of prey disappear, and the wetlands start to deteriorate from within. For years, scientists believed that Burmese pythons in Florida had no natural predators, so researchers had to conduct an experiment on one of these snakes, the one they named Loki, the character we started with. The scientists didn't choose Loki by chance. He was a strong, healthy male with a notably wide roaming range, precisely the kind of individual that US Geological Survey scientists are always looking for. A Judas snake, meaning a traitor snake. During mating season, males track the female's pheromones with astonishing precision. The mission was clear, but it was extremely important, absolutely essential, to carefully record the data or destroy the eggs before a whole new generation of these dangerous creatures could hatch. Loki was the perfect undercover agent. Until he suddenly stopped with a sharp and sudden drop in his body temperature. He had encountered something. It didn't seem like an accident, and it certainly wasn't a human trace. Then the surveillance camera revealed the truth. The culprit was a wild bobcat. It typically weighs between 10 and 15 kilograms, roughly, and its length does not exceed half a meter. It accomplished what Florida thought was impossible. Bobcats are easily recognized by their short, black-tipped tails. Their fur is spotted, ranging from gray to reddish-brown. They have ear tufts and distinctive facial markings. They usually live up to 14 years. Each has safe places such as hollow trees, dense thickets, or rocky crevices where they can hide or take shelter. Females stay within a small area of about 6 square miles, while males cover areas 5 times larger, leaving marks and becoming skilled hunters at night. Rabbits, squirrels, and raccoons in the summer, and birds, especially migratory ones, in the winter, and sometimes carrion. They act wisely and avoid fights they can't win. The problem is that snakes have taken over the bobcat's main prey, rabbits and raccoons, and birds. So they wiped out food sources and sometimes even ate the cats themselves. After what happened to Loki, it became clear that bobcats do not just defend themselves, but they also actively attack snakes. In the year 2021, at Big Cypress Reserve, a camera captured a scene that ecologists described as evolution in real time. A bobcat approached a Burmese python's nest and sniffed every egg, bit some of them and opened them, crushed the rest, then covered everything with grass. This behavior had never been recorded before. 3 days later, it returned and faced a female weighing more than 50 kilograms and over 4 meters long. A strike from the snake nearly killed it in less than a second, but it jumped back just in time and kept coming back for weeks. Bobcats don't just eat eggs, they also kill adult snakes, but they're not the only ones. Underwater, the American alligator, ruler of the Everglades for thousands of years and present for 7 million years, joins the battle and does not give up easily despite the challenge. Videos show a massive 3-meter-long alligator slowly dragging a large 40 to 50 kilogram snake underwater, shaking it forcefully until its spine finally breaks. The battle is reminiscent of a dramatic heavyweight boxing match. One mistake and it's over. The snakes suffocate the young, but alligators, for instance, are very effective against small snakes. A blow to the next generation. Smaller species also join in. King snakes, measuring 1 to 1.5 meters, are resistant to venom. They are famous for hunting venomous snakes. So, a 2022 study carefully documented the remains of a small snake in its feces after exactly 48 hours. Cases of pit vipers eating tagged snakes are rare but documented. In the sky, bald eagles, great horned hawks, and great blue herons typically prey upon the young, using eyesight that is 8 times stronger. A single female lays 50 to 100 eggs at a time and reproduces every 1 to 2 years. So their numbers exploded rapidly. Scientists began to notice a worrying decline in mammals. A 2012 study demonstrated a 99% decrease in the population of raccoons, 98% in opossums, and 88% in bobcats, and an almost complete disappearance of marsh rabbits and foxes. By the middle of the second decade, the problem had become one of the most pressing environmental challenges. The snakes significantly depleted the populations of mammals that spread seeds and fed local predators. As a result, plants suffered and other animals went hungry. Birds suffered as well. Snake dissections revealed vital water birds that help control insects and support nutrient cycles. Rare, dramatic encounters. And the snakes may carry various potential parasites and diseases, still under study, a cause of massive devastation, an invasion of a unique ecosystem, a World Heritage Site, and a biodiversity hotspot, so disrupting its balance threatens wildlife and global conservation efforts. Fortunately, Florida has implemented strategies, and since 2010, the Python Challenge has involved the public in removing hundreds to thousands each year, along with professional contracts based on hours and size, night patrols with federal partnerships, and technologies like thermal drones, scent tracking dogs, and genetic testing. Despite the progress, the ones that are captured remain only a small fraction of the total. As a result, the regulation of the pet trade has increasingly become a significant priority, with stricter rules on import and ownership from both Florida and the federal government. An adult owl, for example, is able to lift a Burmese python that is nearly a meter long from the water's edge with its strong talons, which can exert a force of up to 220 newtons. As for the heron, this bird uses its sharp, pointed beak like a dagger, stabbing the snake in the head with a single, swift blow. If each female snake lays between 20 and 50 eggs in every clutch, then birds of prey together form the most important natural line of defense to help prevent a population disaster. In the northern forests, Florida black bears have been found in cases of mysterious snake deaths, with large bite marks, distinctive wounds, and bear tracks around them. Bears do not actively hunt snakes, but when they encounter an injured, weak or chilled snake, their strength is enough to deliver a strike to the vulnerable neck, just as happened with Loki. This makes bears opportunistic supplements, adding extra pressure on local snake populations. Wildlife in Florida is slowly learning how to respond to the invaders. At first, the snakes were something new and frightening, and the other species didn't know how to react. But over time, the animals adapted. The brave ones take risks for food and reward. While the weak tend to retreat, the strong continue to develop new and advanced skills as the native species gradually learn to fight back. There is also another silent enemy that very few people ever mention: the cold. No matter how strong Burmese pythons are, they carry a deadly weakness for tropical reptiles. When the temperature drops below 15 degrees Celsius, their bodies slow down like a machine running out of battery. Below 10 degrees Celsius, it almost stops responding. The cold snap of 2010 proved its harshness. Hundreds of snakes froze, stiff in coiled positions. They fell from the branches like living logs. But nature does not only punish, it also selects. Some snakes survived that particularly harsh winter, carrying genetic variations that are even more tolerant to the cold. Over many generations, this beneficial trait gradually spread, and studies conducted from 2018 to 2023 discovered something even more concerning. Burmese pythons in Florida are hybridizing with Indian pythons. Indian pythons live in regions with distinct and noticeable winters. They are generally more cold-tolerant and adapt better, while the Burmese python is larger and more aggressive. This accidental hybridization has produced a creature that scientists call the super snake. Stronger, smarter. It can withstand cold that pure Burmese pythons never could. A research group at the U.S. Geological Survey has issued a warning. The boundaries of the invasion will not stop at Florida. The snakes could spread northward to Georgia, Alabama, and even South Carolina, a state that is unprepared for this disaster. In the year 2012, the United States Fish and Wildlife Service listed the Burmese python as a harmful species under the Lacey Act, making it federally illegal to import or transport them across state lines. Florida also tightened its regulations. It has made ownership nearly impossible without special permits to prevent new introductions, even though the damage continues. Awareness campaigns play a supportive role. They educate the public about the dangers of releasing exotic animals and the impact of snakes on the environment, while emphasizing long-term responsibility. Despite these efforts, eradicating all the snakes is impossible due to their characteristics and the vastness of the Everglades. So programs focus on control and containment. They are exploring genetic techniques to stop reproduction and pheromone traps to attract snakes. But these are still in early stages. This requires cooperation between agencies, scientists, and the public. So, the realistic future in Florida is represented by Donna Khalil. The human effort is more apparent. The petite woman whom the American media calls the Burmese python nightmare, the first certified professional snake hunter in America. She is the symbol of the snake removal program. She has personally removed over 1,000 snakes. She grew up in a military family in the humid mangroves of South Florida. She learned to track animals and survive instead of playing. In 2017, she joined the pilot program. She was chosen from among thousands. She stood out with her exceptional skills in martial arts, hunting, and her deep knowledge of snakes. In the first 3 months, she and her dedicated team captured 163 snakes, many of which were over 5 meters long and weighed 60 kilograms. The program became permanent. Today, there are about 100 paid hunters, but none stand out like her, having surpassed 1,000 catches. She works with a Ford vehicle equipped with a steel observation platform, standing for hours in the dark. Hunting is a battle of silence and instinct. 3 seconds to identify and 1 second to decide to jump and grab. She hunts for 10 hours for a single snake, and it requires absolute precision to avoid being bitten, strangled, or dragged underwater. She has suffered dozens of bites, hundreds of tooth marks and scars from battles with snakes 4 or 6 meters long. The pay is close to minimum wage, but her goal is to protect her home. She trains new hunters like Tanya Totens. Donna and a new generation have changed the general perception. Humans are no longer victims, but rather organized predators. Ecologists have suggested releasing eastern indigo snakes, the longest non-venomous snakes in North America, harmless to humans, but they are at the top of the food chain among snakes. They eat all other species, including venomous ones, thanks to natural immunity and a rapid strike. They swallow their prey alive immediately. They specialize in preying on young Burmese pythons, the weakest stage, to break the invasion cycle. In 2025, Florida released 42 indigo snakes into the longleaf pine forest where they had previously gone extinct. Scientists see them as the best natural control tool since they reproduce slowly. They live solitarily and help restore balance without disrupting it. They focus on the young without confronting the adults. Even though bobcats and alligators have learned, it doesn't keep up with the explosive reproduction. But Florida has not given up. Nature evolves and humans learn. And the ecosystem resists a powerful invader. The battle may last for decades, but it is no longer a story of despair, but rather one of resilience and determination to protect home.